Hey folks, good evening. So Rick's going to be a little bit late, so you just got me to start, but I think we got a surprise for you. Hold on, let me figure out how to get rid of this. There's another little box here. Paula, welcome back. Glad you're feeling better. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of. There's a little box on the side of my screen I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of. So we got a bunch of folks in here already. So awesome. So just got done with a Boone Childs premiere. So it's part of our kind of a Wednesday night collaboration that we do starting at 6 to 6:15. MB Heritage did a video tonight on propagating elderberry that he had gotten from Jewel Small Space Gardening last year. And so that was pretty interesting. My elderberry attempt last year was an epic fail. And so after that was Jewel Small Space Gardening, Jamie Slate, and he did some planning his garden for 2022, kind of a chat about that. And then Boone Child kind of gave some great ideas on organizing her seeds and how she's kind of planning her garden coming up. So it was a great and informative 45 minutes. So Rick Edward, or Little Rick, will be here eventually. He is, let me pull this up on the other screen. He is running a little bit late, didn't get out of work until late. And so he is home though. He's with his kids. And hold on a second. He is with his kids and trying to get them all straightened out and organized, because he's going to be a single parent for the next 3 days or so, because Chelsea had a death in her family and is headed up to Minnesota tomorrow. So he's got all 3 kids on his own. I don't think he's ever had all 3 children without Chelsea running interference for him. So we'll see how that goes. And so who do we got in here? Darn, this is just not working for me tonight. So Randy Smith, welcome. So Randy is a truck driver, and Randy, if you're going to be in Glen St. Mary, let me know what day, and maybe we can break bread if you're in town. If you wanted to catch a meal somewhere, I'd love to meet you. So if you're in town, just shoot me an email or message me and let me know when you're going to be in town. He said he's coming through Glen St. Mary next week sometime. Paula Wells is back in the saddle. Paula was feeling a little under the weather last week. So Paula, I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm going to assume that you are feeling better. And Paula she is moderator for for next level gardening. I forgot to do this announcement last week, and I told her I would, and but I didn't see her text message to me until afterwards. So I wasn't able to do that. So I'm doing it this week. So Paul, if you want to drop a link in there to his channel and to that announcement, you can. But she is moderator for a very large gardening channel, Next Level Gardening, and he has just written a book, and it is on the Amazon bestsellers list presently. And so go over and check that out if you would like. I've watched this channel, that channel, and it's a Southern California channel. So some of the stuff on there, I don't know that it would apply to us here in the deep South, but given our humidity and all, but how some of the things that he does in terms of gardening practices, I think they would apply to just about everybody or most people. So what else we got? We got Paula Wells. I said that. Kyle Randall. Kyle, welcome, sir. Kyle was did a little picture the other day about gas prices up there in Missouri, and it's like, brother, they are nuts everywhere. But according to our leadership, their economy's in great shape. I don't know how they're defining that. Little Frenchie in Big Texas. Ann, how are you, ma'am? Camo and Bows, hello. Mad Acre Farms. Well, there's the man.
Hey.
Look at him. He looks completely refreshed, like he's been resting and been able to recuperate before he got on. He pulls it off well. Mad Acre Farms. Welcome, folks. Jewel Small Space Gardening, MB Heritage. My North Carolina crew there. Urban Homesteading Channel. You did. That says, did I manage? That's a problem. I'm horrible at managing this stuff.
What are you horrible at managing?
Trying to find comments, because I'm using YouTube, because Paula asked, what's up with the photo and music? Just something different, Paula. I get bored easily.
You're talking about the intro music?
Yeah, so I put in the last 5 minutes or so, I just started with a little picture and had some intro music on here, and
that's a cool little thing that they have now. That the intro music.
Well, it was in there. That's the first time I've used it. Where am I at? Yeah, I'm horrible at this. I'm a horrible moderator.
And that is why we have Paula.
And that's why Paula's got to be here, because I'm horrible at it. So
we were lost without you last week, dear.
Normally I would just blink it up and it stays up here on the screen. It says Urban Homesteader Channel, did I manage to be 3 for 3 and be on time? You did. So welcome. Thank you for being here. Rick from Twin Brook Acres, welcome. Fairview Family Farm, welcome. Tony, my brother from another mother, up in Blackshear, Georgia, just up the road from us. Tony's kind of changed his channel from Walsh Farms. I think I mentioned this on here in the past, but kind of more encompassing of lots of different topics, and I love his approach, because I think he did a video this week on doing fried eggs in the oven, and I think Jackie told him that it would be healthier for him. Probably is. I don't know. But it looked like it turned out really, really good. But, in that video, Tony says, I'm just going to put up here on YouTube what I want to put up on YouTube. And I'm right there with you, man. So who else? Ginger Ninja, welcome. Michael Marchone up in northern New York. Welcome. So Michael went, he went for 4 for 4 tonight, starting with MB Heritage at 6 o'clock. And then Boone, Child, Down Under Fella. I think Brad went 4 for 4 as well. Sonny's Place, hola. Who else? No. I think I got.
Yeah, we're happy to see you guys. We're happy to see you guys starting out. That was bad echo. Hello, 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 hello.
So Jan, maybe I've got this turned on. Hold on.
Hello, 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 hello.
Is that better?
Hello, hello, hello.
That better?
Still
in. Simply Jan
No,
Homestead, welcome. I understand you got somewhere else to be, Jan. I completely understand, but I appreciate you stopping in and saying hello. In Black's Tropical Homestead, that's the Soil brother and sister from just up the road, just up 95, up around Savannah, Georgia. So
hey, tell them about your bananas.
I've got some Black's Tropical Homestead. I got some bananas last weekend that I'm going to try to grow. You guys have inspired me. I'm not really confident in my skill to make them grow, but I'm going to give it a whirl. Yeah, so we start putting some stuff in the ground this last weekend, and one of those, I haven't got the bananas in yet, but I've got bananas. I got them from the homesteading event that we went to, that we spoke at over in the Panhandle last weekend, and the guy promised me that I can grow those bananas. So we'll see.
We're happy to see you guys going 4 for 4. That's awesome. Urban Homestead channel said, "Oh gosh, I forgot." It just. Let me bring it up. Oh shoot, I lost it.
That's what I was looking for.
It went somewhere. No, going 4 for 4. So thank you guys very much for watching all 4 of the channels that come on every Wednesday. Yes, Soil Brother, grow them.
You guys have more confidence in me in those bananas than I have in me in those bananas. So tonight's guest.
A while back, Randy Smith, real quick. Little Rick, are we getting an update on the garden? So as far as the garden, me and Papa for a very short period of time.
I want you to clarify, Randy. Are you talking about the garden? Or are you talking about the 1 week garden or 6 week garden? I guess it would be.
It was. Yeah. No, so if you're referring to the garden itself, very shortly, I'm sure we'll be having an update. We got to put some things together. Me and Papa were working on it a little bit last night. I got called away. Papa was working on it before I even got home. I don't even know what time how many did you get done? Just one?
What, of the beds?
Yeah.
Just one.
Yeah. So we still have 2 more to put together. Or no, we have several. Anyway, we're going to put those together. We're probably going to do an unboxing of one potentially, and then shortly after that, we'll kind of give you a little tour of what we got going on so far. I know the last one was just cleaning up and kind of giving you the plan. But Papa's been spending a lot of time doing his kind of food forest garden, so that'll be pretty cool. We're really looking forward to that. As far as my cup with my one little plant in it, I gave up. I ain't even gonna lie. I just didn't do it. I procrastinated too long. Papa's been telling me to get seeds or tell him what seeds I want for how long? Almost a month now. I haven't done it.
At least
professional procrastination.
So Rick over Twin Brook Acre said the Wednesday night lineup, starting with MB Heritage, then Jewel Spall Space Gardening, and then Boone Child, should be called the Soil Train. Well, I'm going to defer that to the brains behind the gardening side of this, which is definitely not me. That would be Boone, Michael, and Bobby at MB Heritage, and Jewel. I'm not the brains behind the gardening operation. I just put things in the ground and hope they grow. I'm hoping to get better. So, Tony, soon, when we go up I think it'll be probably at the very earliest, probably 8 weeks, when we take our bucks up to the processor, whenever that is, probably around May or so. I think we're coming right through Blackshear, so I'll make sure I let you know when that happens. So, Brandy Smith says you only need to do 1 weed. So you could actually
I got lots of that.
Pull one right out of the soil.
I guess that could have been misconstrued some way. I have lots of weeds that are growing naturally in the yard, but they are like weeds, as in, not grass.
Urban Homesteader channel says y'all are supposed to be making me laugh. I'm sad. We lost our 1.5-year-old Cornish cross rooster.
I saw that.
He was
That
sort
is
of
a really old Cornish cross.
Yeah. Cornish crosses.
That bird must have looked like a T-Rex.
Yeah, they don't. That must have been one big bird. Sorry for your loss, though. And it doesn't matter whether it's a chicken or a rabbit or goats or anything else for that matter. When you lose them, that's always a sad day. Even, I was watching Celtic Roots Farm today and their video where they took their hogs to the processor, and it's a sad thing. I mean, whenever I have to do that, even though I know it's necessary and we're doing it and it helps the family, it's always a sad day when that happens. So I think when it stops being a sad day, you probably need to reevaluate what you're doing, frankly. So, all right. So there's the link that I was telling you from Paula. So this is a book that just come out just in the last few weeks from Next Level, from the Brian, I forget his last name, but he runs this channel, Next Level Gardening, and just come out with a book in the last few weeks. And Paul is a moderator, one of the main moderators on his channel, and it is a very large channel. So I told her that she could kind of share that. So, LOL. So we have got some Brian Lowell. That's correct. So that's who's authored that book. All right. So we have got one of the channels that, probably I started following shortly after they even started a channel. And it was shortly, we probably started, I probably started a little bit. We started probably a little bit earlier than them, a few months, maybe 6 months earlier. But I've always enjoyed interacting with Shelly and Scott at Whiskey and Sunshine Off Grid. And they are our guests tonight. So we're going to spend the better part of 45 minutes chatting with them. And unlike many channels on YouTube that say they are off grid and live in these little itty bitty tiny houses the size of a garden shed, and say they enjoy it, I just have to, I've had 2 kids. I'm married for 35 years, and I love my wife and I love my children, but I don't think that I could live with them in a garden shed. So I would have to be in a real house. I'm not saying a house mansion, but it's got to be a real house where I've got my own space. I need my space. So, in my opinion, Shelly and Scott are doing that right because they've got a real house. And it's just amazing to me that it is completely off grid. So I think you're going to have a blast with that. Shelly and Scott, I've been waiting on Lala to come on for like 10 minutes. So I'm going to defer you for 5 more minutes and you'll appreciate this, okay? Because they're in the green room as well. I can see Scott's serious face and Shelly's happy face, smiley face. Now they're both laughing, so Scott's going to laugh too. So I got Lala in here, and Lala's got a present for you all tonight. And she's got, what are you going to show them, Lala? Put her in the middle, Ricky.
Well, I'm in my office. I'm on my phone. So I'm kind of like,
The phone is hard for me to use. Can you hear me okay?
We can now. I muted everybody else.
All right. So let me see. Can I turn the camera around? I'm not sure. Oh, no, I turned it off. Hold on. Okay. Let me see if I can do this. Got baby goats.
Right on cue with the scream.
Got baby goats.
So these are her bottle babies from her Nigerian dwarf. So she's got 5 of them that are now living in her office.
can you see
They're
it?
so small. and whenever they first came out, they didn't even sound like goats. They actually sounded more like kittens.
Michael Keener, stop brown nosing. Her presence is our gift.
Oh Lord!
Oh my! I'm not even gonna leave that up.
Those are cute, Mama. I haven't actually seen them I saw the 2 in person.
This
But
one here,
those are cute.
I don't know if you can see his moon spot.
So, do we win? Emma says, "Do we win a free goat?" No, you do not win a free goat. But these are, you can't really see it on her phone, but there's a male. See the ones over in the corner, the male and the female. They are covered in moon spots. They are absolutely beautiful kids. Look at that. So 4 of these were born to the same mother yesterday, and she developed an incredibly serious case of mastitis and cannot nurse. So we immediately adopted four bottle babies, and then the other one, the little male, is called Owen, and Owen could not nurse because he's got 2 bully sisters that would not let him on a teat. And so that's a great shot.
Hold on. I'll show you, Owen. Okay. So, how many of you have read the book A Prayer for Owen Meany? Has anybody read that book, Rick?
I'm waiting for comments. All right, we'll go on. I got to get the guests on.
So, Owen Meany, A Prayer for Owen Meany is a book about a kid that has a form of dwarfism. And this little guy's a Nigerian dwarf. But he was tiny. His sisters were really big, and he was real tiny. And his sisters are bullies. They won't let him latch on. So I was supplementing him, and he just reminds me of that character, Owen Meany. So his name is Owen.
Yeah, we made sure he got on so he could get the colostrum in the first 24 hours. But after that, they just would not let him latch on. So
yeah, I held the sisters back so that he could get colostrum. So, but yeah, so he's tiny. His name is Owen, and he's a sweet baby. All right, so now everybody's seen my dwarf bottle babies.
And she's got them in her working office. So it's her and 4 goats living in her office right now. So
it's a pack and play, and in the bottom of it, I have pee-pee pads for dogs. And then I took pine shavings, the minis, and just put a layer of that in there, and it helps keep any smells or anything down. And so, because there's so many of them in there, so I think you can see. Yeah, see, it's just a kid's pack and play. So this weekend we'll be finishing up what we call the nursery, which is an entirely separate outbuilding. We just gotta secure the fencing because these guys are so tiny. They escape out of our 4x4 fencing.
yeah, the 4x4 fencing where we had the Kiko goats. Lala went out there to feed them, and there's little babies everywhere in the barn because they go right through the 4x4 panels. It was not pretty.
The dwarf babies go through the 4x4, not the Kikos.
Fortunately, they don't run fast.
The dwarf babies are so tiny, they just go through. So what we're doing is we're just going to redo an area of an outbuilding to make it into a nursery. So anytime I have situations where I have to isolate babies or bottle feed or whatever, I can put them in there, and there'll be a heat area in there for them and stuff too. So, but thanks for watching, guys.
Mike Keener says he's going to add a nursery now to Jalen's office.
Oh, see, Michael, you got to bring Jalen for a visit. You go home with a couple of babies. They'll fit right in her carry-on bag or her purse or whatever.
All right.
All right, Mama. Thank you. I love you.
All right. Bye, guys.
And without further ado, we have Shelly and Scott.
How are y'all doing?
Hey, folks.
Yeah.
Can you
How
hear
are
us?
you?
Evening.
We hear you. Look at that. I was wondering if you're going to wear your shirt.
What is it?
Is blackberry?
Oh, blackberry smoke. Yeah, it's a
No.
band from down there in your neighborhood.
Shelly's shirt.
Oh yeah, that's right. I got
Oh,
representing.
I didn't pay too much attention to what I was wearing.
Usually from his shirt, so I'm just used to that. But
So this is Whiskey and Sunshine Off Grid, and they are one of the first channels that we started watching pretty consistently, and then things get busy, and then you can't watch them as consistently. But I always love going back to watching their videos because they live where I would never ever live. I left 35 years ago, and I don't miss it. So tell us about where you guys are at and what Whiskey and Sunshine Off Grid is.
well, we're in Maine, the western part of Maine.
The Western Mountains, actually.
Yeah.
We're about 20 miles east of the New Hampshire border, I'd say, and probably close to the middle, or at least we're probably close to the middle of the section of the border when you see it, right where the mountains are.
Whenever they do their videos, the backgrounds are just absolutely stunning. There was, just beautiful. I was watching, I was going through some of your oldest videos today, as I always go for our guests, and I kind of rumble through the old stuff, not necessarily the newer ones, but a lot of the older stuff. And there was one in there where you were taking a ride through a state park and just riding around, and it's just the mountains are just incredible. It's beautiful.
So earlier, did you say border or borda?
The border of border. Yeah.
Sorry, I'll probably do it a couple more times.
Yeah. We gotta go stop.
Well, welcome. So one of the questions I always love asking is, what was, and I'm going to give this to Scott because you might know it, Shelly. So what was your first YouTube video? Do you know what it is, Shelly?
Was it the one where we were kind of introducing ourselves? Was that the first one?
I think that was the first one together, but the first one I did it. It was me cutting trees around an apple tree down the hill.
That's right. Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had first moved here, and I wanted to clear it out because I wanted to see if that apple tree would come back because it was kind of dying off, and it's doing pretty good. It hasn't given me any apples yet, but it's definitely looking more healthy.
Yeah,
so is that on your property, or is it?
Yes.
Is it? Okay, cool.
Yep.
And it's just a wild apple tree that you discovered.
Yep. Didn't even know it was there because all the trees, it was along the driveway and all the trees had started to grow in. When we moved here, this was it
was a bank-owned property.
Yeah,
the people that had owned it had turned it back over to the bank.
Yeah.
They had failed for one reason or another. I don't think they were prepared for what being off-grid was really going to be like. They probably thought they weren't going to have any power bills. They would use that money to pay for getting other things done. But I think it ended up, they weren't as hands-on, and they just ended up in a financial pit. So
this was empty for like 3 or 4 years.
Right.
There was nobody that lived here. Nobody maintained the driveway or any of the trees, and they just all started to grow in and around everything. So when we got here, it was pretty wild.
And the bank had come in or sent some property management people in because this place is actually in the woods at the end of a dead end dirt road. They were afraid, kids or whatever, partiers would be in here and stealing things. So they'd taken the generator, they'd taken the batteries, the wood stove, the inverters, all that stuff was all pulled out. And
so it didn't get stolen.
Right.
Wow.
So we had to put all that back in. We moved in like I want to say it was in the middle of January. It was very cold.
It was.
And we didn't have any real good source of heat. House had been cold and hadn't been lived in for years. So with kerosene heaters and a bunch of Coleman camping gear, you don't think about it. I mean, but we didn't have any gas to cook on. We didn't have any running water at first. Everything. We didn't have any way to power anything. So we we had a lot of, our first couple of weeks was really interesting as things started.
So if you're that remote and you're literally off grid, right? There's no power. There's no
power. No.
There's no power coming to you. So anything that you do, you're generating your own power.
Absolutely.
See, that's just amazing to me. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. The only thing we really have here for a utility, the guy that had this place built, the first owner, he was a school teacher, and he had a phone line buried, because there is a phone line that goes down this road. There's just no power lines. So he had a phone line buried all the way in here from the main road. So that's how we're able to get kind of, I won't say it's great internet, but.
Was it like DSL coming in on copper?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that works. I mean, we just got fiber internet literally within the last 2 years. We've been running on copper forever. So you can, depending on who else is on your line and how long it is, if you're like way, way, way at the end of the road and you're on copper, that can erode the signal. But if
we have problems with thunder showers. If lightning strikes, everything, there's a lot of ledge around here, and if the lightning strikes anywhere along this road, anybody out here, it cooks their box, that they have on the outside of their house.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And then
how many people live down your road? I mean, I'm assuming, because you said you don't have power. How many people are actually, I mean, I'm assuming you guys live in the middle of like nowhere, Egypt. So
close.
Well, we're not far from a couple towns, just a few miles away, and they have power, but we're
right. We're a few miles away from, well, actually about a mile away from grid power, one direction, and we're probably 5 or 6 miles away from grid power in the other direction.
So there are a lot of off-grid folks out there.
There's a few. Most of them aren't year-round residents. A lot of them are vacation properties. People have them for a camp or whatever. There's a couple within a mile, I would say, of year-round residents, other than us, maybe.
pretty quiet here. There's
We can't.
Yeah, I mean, I know with homesteading, like in general, like it doesn't have to be off-grid. It can be homesteading or even farming or whatever. Having kind of like a network of people close enough to where I guess you can like reach out is super beneficial, especially for just like pure knowledge, like in general. Do you guys have a relationship with the people that live around you, or is it more or less like, hey, stay off my land, I'll stay off yours, I don't want to talk to you, I'm a hermit, leave me alone?
I'm out here for a reason. I don't want to be around people.
I mean, to a certain extent, you have to be like-minded.
Yeah, but I mean, we're all out here mostly for the same reason, because we want to be, so there's that. We share that. And there are a couple different people that we know that live close. We didn't know them before. They're people we met like since we moved in. And we've helped each other out a little bit. I mean, not any great amount.
Yeah, I got you.
Just being good neighbors type of a thing. And some of them,
they know if they need something,
right?
They can come up here,
right.
And
But other than that, they leave you alone. Those are the best kind of neighbors.
Yeah, they've come up and asked first. I'm stuck in my driveway. Can you give me a chain? Let me borrow a chain. Can you,
chainsaw.
Chainsaw.
Can you come over and bucket out the end of my driveway? The snowbank's too big. I can't see to get onto the road.
So we're friendly with several, and then I mean they're not close by, but in the same town. So this is quite a big township. It's actually a township, and it's quite a big township. And like over on the other side of the mountain is where we live. I mean, in our same town, and we know several people over there that we've known for years and years and years. They don't live off grid, but we know them. And
well, that's the thing. When I first started watching you guys' channel, and I think it was the video prior to the first one with the two of you, and where you kind of explained how you came to be into the house that you're in, because there was some comments were off grid, and then I looked at the size of that house, and I'm like, there's no way that thing is off grid. I mean, the amount of power that's got to pull, it's just that's just, you know, somebody's misleading somebody here. It's just astounding to me, because if you watch the overwhelming number of videos on YouTube about off-grid living, I mean, they're these little itty-bitty tiny sheds that people build on their own. And I got nothing against a small building. I just couldn't do that, because I love my wife, but I need my space.
Right.
I mean, I enjoy being in my camper with my wife for 3 or 4 days, but at the end of that 3 or 4 days, I want to go home so I can go to my workshop where there's nobody but me.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
And so their home, I mean, kind of describe it. I mean, you guys are in a two-story home.
Yep, it's a colonial, full 2 stories with like 9-foot ceilings. It's actually a big house. It's over 2,000 square feet, not counting the basement.
It's 22.
Yeah, so that's I mean, it's just really, it's pretty. I mean, it's a really attractive looking house on top of a hill, until it gets icy, and then
we're probably a quarter of a mile off the paved road, and we own all the way to the road, so we have to maintain that. There's nobody else that keeps it open for us. That's why all the tractor videos and snow, you know, plowing snow and fixing the driveway, it really is a huge part of our life. It isn't just what sells or what, you know, what you see in the videos is really what we are doing at any given time. That was kind of why we started doing this, because I mean, I like the shows on TV too about, you know, off grid and the people that live in the woods, and those are all fun and everything, but a lot of it is it's entertainment. It's not how, it's kind of a misrepresentation. And I mean, I see a lot of that with a lot of YouTube channels too. You can watch them and they say they're off grid, and you know, if you watch your videos long enough, you'll find out that they're going to spend a couple weeks out at their camp. They don't necessarily live there.
Right,
so, I mean,
right.
We do. So we could have made do with a lot smaller house. This one was just,
it just fell into our lap.
Yeah, we just found it. Had no idea it was here, because like you pointed out, it does not look like it belongs here. It's a big white colonial house, and it's right in the middle of nowhere. You know?
So when you were talking about your solar power, you said you're pulling 100. How many? So you got 12 panels pulling 150 watts a panel.
Yep.
That's a lot of power.
Well, it is. Actually, I'd like to have a little more, but you got to. It's kind of ebb and flow. I mean, you have to understand. It took me a long time, even though I knew how solar power worked. It took us a long time of living on it before we really understood how to get the most out of it without going the other way. And I would like to have either some newer panels that will have a higher output for the size of the panel, or you add more panels to the array that we already have, just to maximize, you know, the power that we do get. Because it's like having a bank account, you know, that you can't overdraw. You can't take what isn't there. It's not like being grid tied. And people misunderstand. I mean, this is a 24-volt system. If you draw that system down to an actual 24 volts, that's too low. That's to the point where you're going to start damaging your batteries, which are very expensive. You really don't want to.
And that's where you burn them up.
Right. Well, it's just like a car. Solar power actually, in my mind, shares a lot more with automotive electronics than it does, you know, with home electronics, because it's DC power. And if you think about it, the battery in your car is a 12-volt battery. But if that battery gets down to 12 volts, your car doesn't start.
Right.
Now, do you guys have a petrol car, or do you have a gasoline car?
We have 2 4-wheel drive trucks.
Oh, there you go.
So Emma asked, what's their backup? So earlier, Emma said that they are actually working on. So we're ready to go off grid in the mountains, spending the next couple of years getting our property ready to sell, and then she poses another question down a little bit later about what's your backup situation? Do they have a generator or two?
Yeah, go ahead.
We have one generator that's propane powered, and
It's a 10,000 watt propane, like a house standby generator, except it just sits there until we need to start it, and then we start
So
it.
it's like a Generac.
It is a
But
generator.
it doesn't. Oh, it is a Generac. Okay.
Yes, it's an old one. Yes.
So why
Yeah, I
would
think that
you?
was one of I think that was one of Lala and Papa's like favorite investments in their house was that Generac. So, and I like it too because I benefit from it in the hurricane season because we'll just go there.
It was funny. The guy came out yesterday to do the annual service on it because it's still under warranty, and so it's also natural gas or propane powered. And the guy, he calls us on his phone. We weren't here when he got here to do the service, and he calls Kimberly on her phone and he says, "I can't find your tank." And Kimberly said, "Well, where are you?" "Well, I'm standing right beside the generator." She said, "Turn around and look for the bird bath in the middle of the yard." And he turns around and he says, "All right, I see it." I said, "See those two domes on either side of it? There's 2,000-gallon tanks buried in the ground right there." So it was a phenomenal investment because, I understand why they do it, but I don't agree with it at all. It's one of the few things in Florida government that I don't agree with is that we can't legally, by Florida state law, be off grid. Now we can use solar power, but we have to be hooked up to a municipal power source.
oh,
So, and it's because they don't want to lose customers. You can backfeed. I can run solar power out in my yard or on my roof or whatever, and I can produce more power than I use. So I'm sending more power back to the grid, but I have to be on the net. I have to be on the electrical network, which is just kind of stupid to me. I mean, you should not have to be forced to do that,
no.
in my opinion.
Well, there are other states that are like that too, and it's it just comes down to they want to make sure that you're all right. We'll take care of you. Type of a situation. And
Yeah.
the ironic thing is here, we do have widespread power outages in this area. I mean, you can see our videos.
Quite often.
Some of the storm aftermath of some of the videos. You can see. I mean, two things. Well, the power is going to go out, and you'll also find out why there's always a chainsaw in my truck, no matter what, because there's trees in the road. It seems like all the time.
Yeah.
But people don't understand. One of the things about living off grid, we actually end up sometimes feeling guilty because they'll be having a widespread power outage. And I'll never forget one time it happened over Christmas, and we had a bad storm, and everybody was without power, and they all had their roasts and stuff in the oven, and no power. And everybody was flipping out. How are they going to have their Christmas dinner? We were like, did something happen? As if we see it on Facebook,
Yeah.
I totally understand what you're saying. As far as like feeling guilty, but at the same time, being prepared is something that you should not feel guilty about.
Right.
And the way you guys live is much, much more difficult than someone. Even the fact that you are off grid, but like all of your power is coming from the fact that you don't live anywhere, like you don't live close. You don't have like really nice internet, or you can't just like leave every single light in your house on all the time.
Yeah.
You have to be weary of making sure that your house, you have like the thought in the back of your head, if we don't do or maintain what we have, we will be dead in the water, more or less. And so, I mean, it kind of comes down to, the way I reference it is I'm not going to feel bad when something ends up happening to where I need my guns
Right.
and I need my ammunition.
Right.
I'm not going to go hand it out because someone else didn't prepare.
Right. Right.
That's mine.
Right.
It's
when
mine and it's Papa's. And
Yeah,
so that's it.
when we go ahead, I'm sorry. When we built our house, the contractor, you know, really there was some moments with our contractor when he just like, you want what?
Yeah.
And they just didn't get it, and you know, they kind of made fun of the house jokingly as we were having it built, but it's already paid for itself. All of the improvements that we put into it paid for itself within, I mean, if they're not paid for, it'll be very shortly. Like, you know, there's no fiberglass insulation. It's all blown in foam insulation. So it's like a Yeti. That's what they called it, was the Yeti house. So we don't have a central heat and air system. We have, each room has its own little individual split level unit. And we just run one, and it will literally do half of the house. And it's, I don't even know how, it's like 1,900 square feet total. But we run these individual units, and they're so efficient that our electric bill using a central heat and air in our old house, it was like 2,200 square feet. Running it there, it would run $600-700 a month in the winter time, running the heat. And now our electric bill is never over $150 ever.
Well, see, you also have to take into consideration that the electric company that they came from is the same. I mean, I know of both. The company that we have now is just a rural. It literally is a family owned and operated electric company. Rural Okefenokee Power and Electric, and they still come out like you call them. You're going to get. I think there's 2 people that work in the office. And they're going to send out the same guy, and then they're going to come out and have a big old, gnaw of snuff in their cheek and spitting out in the grass and talking about hunting. And then, oh crap, I was here for your power. So what did you need? It's really nice. But yeah, it's kind of funny because whenever I came from, we had our house was what, 19, I think it was 1920 is when my old house was built. Very, very, very old house. Thought to myself, I'm going to get into this thing because, like, I really wanted an old fixer-upper. Worst decision of my life at the age that I was in. I didn't have any kids, but I wanted kids. Ended up having kids.
Right.
And just, oh, man, it was a money pit. But it had central heating and air. And Papa's house was massive. Our old house was massive in comparison to what I lived in. And my electric bill was still in the dead heat of summer. It was running, like Papa said, $250 to $300. But down here in Florida, you can't find houses unless they're like old cracker style houses. You cannot find houses unless it's a cracker style that don't have central heating.
It's not a derogatory
that's
term.
not a derogatory.
That's what
okay,
they call old native Floridians. They call Florida crackers. So before everybody loses their stuff.
Yeah. We were fortunate. I believe the people that had this place built, they must have talked to a really good architect, because they must have. It was well designed. The way that it heats, the double flue stone chimney goes right up through the stairwell going upstairs.
In the middle of the
So
house.
all the heat, it's like a stack. All the heat from the one wood stove rises and goes up through the whole upstairs. There are no.
wow.
You did your video a few weeks ago, Scott, on a soapstone. I'd never even heard of that before. So does the stone itself heat up and radiate out? Is that how it works?
Oh yeah,
No
definitely.
kidding. That's awesome.
You can let the fire go out and it's still heating for like a day afterwards, because it holds so much heat, it just radiates.
That's amazing. I got a question for you. Then we're going to do a giveaway. So, Scott, you did a video on the most important homesteader tool. What is that?
One of them
What-
is
What is that?
The one that I did the video on, what I thought
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
I would say that would have to. You want me to reveal it, or are you asking somebody else?
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, the chainsaw.
The chainsaw, and he's got these two awesome steel chainsaws. And then in that very first video that Shelly did, I want to quote this correctly. She said, "My chainsaw, isn't it a quote unquote, isn't that adorable?" so from a guy who uses a chainsaw for a living, it is. It's like I don't even. So it was a was that a it was.
Saw in the house though. It's probably that gets used more than any other side. I mean, I think firewood.
If you guys have to go check out Whiskey and Sunshine Off Grid, go to their very first video, and if you do not roll over laughing at Shelly's description of that chainsaw, you don't have a heart, because that was hilarious. Isn't it cute? Look at this cute little blade. It's so adorable.
It's a 4-inch chain and bar on that thing.
It's hard to find. They're so handy. People are buying them up. They're out of stock everywhere. Because I mean,
well, steel don't make junk, so I could imagine it's a pretty good little tool.
It is. It is.
I have switched to steel just actually right about the time we moved here. I always had Husqvarna and Jones Red for years.
John's a red?
Jones Red, yeah, Jones Red. They're another company. Actually, they were owned by the same company that owned Husqvarna. So
I never even heard of it before.
Yeah,
Huh.
well, it might be a northeastern thing too. You know,
We have Husqvarna down here. We don't have Husqvarna.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. On that note, all right, we're going to give away. We are. We're going to. All right, and I don't have it with me. I forgot to bring it up here. We're going to give away one of our La La Farm tumblers. So, and Rick he could not. This would have been a phenomenal channel to do What the Bleep on. But yeah, Rick couldn't get the videos done. It's basically they take one video and one line. Rick takes one line from one of your videos and then bleeps out one word. And it is absolutely hilarious when he has the time to do that. So you got to bleep out some of Scott's. You got to do a What to Bleep from Scott's lines in their live streams. That's when I just sit here and laugh because they're funny.
I'm a mill worker. What can I say?
So there are 30 people in here.
Randy Smith says 23.
Randy Smith wins, and then he says, "No, just give it to somebody else." All right. Well, Randy, if you can make it here next week, I'm serious. We'll try to. So Mike Keener, he's heard of Jones Red, and he says, "I love my Jones Red." So I've never heard of it before. Yeah. So if you can get here, absolutely, and I will give you one of our mugs if you can get here. But we got some stuff going on next week. So numbers between 0 and 40, and the winner is who I determined to be the winner based on my stream on my end, not your end. So this is for La La Farm tumbler, 0 to 40. Go.
The answer is not 23.
It was.
So while that's going on, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna talk through some of these comments. But how cold does it really get in Florida? That was from Sonny's Place. So I think the coldest we've gotten so far was actually during our Keepers of the Old Ways, and that was 23 degrees. I think
it got down to 19 2 days ago or last week.
And that was insane. Like that, I'm at 19 degrees. I'm dead. I'm frozen solid.
I'm still looking.
We've had negative 19.
I had 20.
Days.
I had 24 below on the way home.
Yeah, well, I'll tell a story. I'm sure somebody will get it before I can complete this story. So I'll wait at least until someone guesses correctly, and then Papa's gonna pin the comment, and then I'll tell the story.
Anything going.
Yet, Ed?
Nope.
Oh, man.
0 to 40, folks. All right, keep doing the comments, right?
It's difficult when I'm sure someone.
That's Brian.
Randy Smith. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Randy Smith never even wants it when he wins.
So I'm gonna start talking, and somebody's gonna get it. So, anyway, so Chelsea is actually going to Chelsea's gonna go to Minnesota.
Head Family Farm at 13.
Lucky number
Told you it would
Lucky
happen.
number 13, yeah.
So Chelsea's going to be going to Minnesota tomorrow at 3:00 in the afternoon. She's going to be gone for about a week. So you guys definitely pray for me because I'm going to have 3 kids by myself. We have taken preparations. So 1, Chelsea is cooking a cheesy creamy corn casserole tonight that I'm going to be able to eat tomorrow. So she's doing that for me. I've already made reservations at Lala and Papa's house 2 of the 6 days, so Lala can cook for me and the kids.
Is that why she requested that I make a pork butt this weekend?
Probably. Also,
I didn't know that. I know there was a reason for it.
No, on Friday I am in charge of my own meal, so I've decided it's going to be hot dogs. And then at some point we also are going to have grilled cheese and tomato soup.
Whoa.
I know. I'm an excellent cook. And then we're also going to do, at some point, we also got 2 bags of voila. So, I mean, yeah, it's not Chef Boyardee. But anyway, she's going up to Minnesota. That's besides the point. That was just me rambling. She's going up to Minnesota. Her uncle passed. So she's going to go up there, and she was getting long johns, a new jacket, some sweaters, because last week they had recorded temperatures of like -20. And I was like, yeah, no.
You can have it.
They can have it.
Once it gets down to like -10, it really doesn't matter. I can go down to like
it's all the same.
You've passed the pain threshold at that point.
See, this is the thing, and I know this is a very it might be like a little dark thing to say, but you can't even bury anybody in -20.
No, we tried to dig the holes in the warm weather, so the hole is all dug. Then you can cover it over with snow to bury it.
Are you saying dig the grave before? God. Well, at least I wasn't the only one being morbid. So let's see, Matt Akers. I know you got more to. I think. Are we doing another giveaway, Dad?
We're going to do one more shirt, but I had one more question. So what's been the biggest challenge for you guys? Apart from YouTube, just kind of that you weren't ready for, that you've had to kind of figure out and figure out to kind of continue on course. What's the biggest challenge you've had off grid?
What do you think?
Well, I'm thinking probably learning that we can't live like we live on grid. Learning when to do the laundry and keeping track of your power and your batteries. So
the timing, of course, is kind of essential. Like Shelly is saying, and even if you have a bad solar day and the generator's running, that's when you use all your bulk power, like you do while the generator's running. You might do your laundry, do your vacuuming, anything you want to do. Of course, and the remainder of that power that you're not using is still going back into your batteries. So it's still, but that process was hard to learn, get used to. I tell everybody our whole existence pretty much revolves around 2 to 2.5 volts of power. And if people look at you and go, what? But I mean, it's true. But if you look at volts, they're not as important as the amps. What you're really doing is amp hours. That's how you really need to look at things. And it is different. It would be hard with kids that are younger and they want to leave a light on everywhere they go or something like that. So we definitely try to cut down on that stuff. But other than that, to be honest, as far as the solar and the power part of it goes, this really is no different than living at a house that has grid power. Everything is the same. We have a microwave, we have a dishwasher, we have a washer and a dryer.
We
you
just
know,
have to check what we have for levels before we.
Right.
What you're doing.
That's
Can't
probably
do it all at the same time.
right.
So
I
it's
would
like
say
upscale off grid.
the biggest physical challenge the first couple of years was keeping the road open between here and the main road, because it had closed in a lot and we had a lot of storm damage. So we'd get a bad storm and, I'd have to spend the next day with a chainsaw, which is, it's not all that uncommon anyway, but I mean, it was hard until we got the road the way we wanted it.
And we had an old Kubota then. We got the
Yeah,
new one after,
yeah.
and so probably that.
But
Yeah, when you get a bad hurricane down here, which we luckily, Papa can explain this way better than I can. Where Northeast Florida is in the Gulf Stream, for the most part, unless I think it was Michael. Michael's the one that skirted, right, Dad? Like skirted the entire.
I don't
can't
recall.
remember. Anyway,
There's so many of them, I
there
don't
was-
keep track of them.
Yeah, there was one that literally skirted the entire the east coast of Florida. That really sucked because I actually had to drive to work while it was hitting Northeast Florida. I was driving in it because they needed more officers at the prison. But for the most part, the Gulf Stream literally kicks it away from where we're at. So we don't get hit a lot. Now, people like Pensacola, over there by like the Keeners or Dusty Goat Homestead, they get hit much, much, much more frequently. And when the hurricane comes through, I mean, really all you can do is hope that you're not in the eye of it, because if you're in the eye of like a category 4, pray for you if you're in a 5, like your stuff is going to either be demolished or it's going to be unlivable for a really long time.
That's scary.
All right, folks, we're going to do one more giveaway. This is for a shirt. And, yep.
Not
So
this.
Scott, you get a shirt too. You want a shirt?
sure.
All right. Shelly, send me his size and color preference.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
thanks,
then, so
thanks a lot.
you're welcome. This has been wicked fun.
Yes.
All right. We're going to give a shirt away. So same thing between 0 and 40. Paula, I need another shirt. Paula, you get like first dibs on everything new. She's got, I don't even have 2 cups, and she's got a blue cup and a white cup.
Whoa.
So, all right, number between 0 and 40. Ready? Go. There are no appeals. There are no appeals. I say who wins based on the order that it comes up on my end.
I'm glad you say that, because a lot
That's
of
hard.
times
Yeah, we've done that before.
Those come up and people say, "No, it was me first." And
I did that because people want to Fairview fan. You know what's cool is that when channels come on, it's like we've got this history of like relatively when new channels that don't come on a whole lot. Fairview Family Farm.
Hey, Dad.
What?
All right. So where are you looking at these comments at? Are you looking at them in StreamYard?
I'm looking at them in StreamYard.
All right. Go up to Grace and Fire.
Grace and Fire. Oh, all right. I'm sorry. Grace and Fire was the first one then.
I am sorry, Fairview. I just want to be fair.
See, when I said there was no appeals, he appealed my decision, but he's like in a moderator position, so he can appeal.
Well, I mean, I
Fairview
can see
Family
the
Farm,
comments.
I apologize. Grace and Fire, you win, but Grace and Fire, they won a mug, I think, a couple of weeks back, so they got good juju. So, all right, Head Family Farm, you got the Tumblr. Make sure that you email me with your address, and I will get that mailed out to you. Same thing, Grace and Fire. I'm going to need your address, size preference, and color and design preference for the shirt. Email me that, and we'll get it ordered for you. Folks, this has been a ton of fun.
I got
yeah,
a couple more. I got a couple more comments I can hang around. Do you? We kind of got you guys in a little bit late. So I mean, if you guys want to stick around for like another 5 minutes, I'm gonna run through a few more comments I've had pinned for a while. So we need to do something different where we are at. We are going to look into a pellet stove. These energy costs are crazy. Nina and Papa have a pellet stove, don't they, Dad?
They do.
Yeah,
They've been really.
I'll admit, I've had a lot of questions about solar power lately.
Yeah, it cut cost. It cut cost for them a lot. They did now, or I wouldn't say it cut cost for them because they were doing a lot of firewood. But as far as the convenience of it, oh man, yeah.
Well, they did a lot. He's always either cut his own wood, split his own wood, and then when you're heating with wood though, then you're carrying that wood in multiple times a day, and that gets really old. And that's Lala's or Kimberly's parents. So this pellet stove, they can run that pellet stove all day long, and they can bring it in much smaller batches. So for their angle, it works really well, and that thing will heat. They live.
It kicks out.
They've got it in the middle of their home, and they can heat that entire home with that pellet stove, and it gets hot in there to the point where they've got to open the front door in the middle of winter.
Right, they do work quite well. Yeah. The only downside, we actually thought about buying one for here because the first winter that we moved in, we didn't have any firewood. So we were kind of up against it. We ended up buying some of those fire bricks that they sell like at Tractor Supply. And that was how we got through our first winter. But
they're like compacted
sawdust and chips.
Real
just like they're like a giant wood pellet, basically. But we didn't go with a pellet stove because it was more power. You've got to power your feed system.
Right.
You have to power your blowers if it's got blowers involved. So we
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because I think the electric is really the blower and the auger.
Right.
So it's I guess it's a lot like a new age smoker.
Like a grill. It works on the same principle.
Yeah.
So we also got Paula. Are you working during this next? I'm assuming you were talking about week because that comment was from a little while. Yes, I will be working. I'm actually going in early tomorrow so I can get home early and see Chelsea off before she goes off to Minnesota. So the head family farmer, man, I can hardly handle one little one by myself. Well, that's why I need you to think about me until next Thursday when the queen of the house gets back. So Sonny's place, I know they've already taken off, but I never feel bad when Matt goes on daddy duty. I do it on my own all the time. We're skipping your comment now. -20 is cold for me. That's a different breed of people. So with Chelsea, so a lot of people have seen Chelsea. She has a few dedicated videos, but not a lot. With Chelsea, she's got her father is, so they're going to a reservation because her dad's side of the family, which is where her uncle, that was her uncle, is actually Chippewa, I think I'm pretty sure Chippewa, but they live Red Lake, Minnesota. So there's a reservation up there that's where they'll be spending the majority of their time. And so they are very much so used to extremely cold weather, unlike this Florida boy sitting in front of you. So that's all my comments, Dad. You can do what you do now.
All right. Well, folks, this has been. I'm going to use one of them New England terms. This has been wicked fun.
Wicked.
And,
Yes,
Yes, Bob.
what did you say?
Yes, Bob.
What do they say? Wicked pissa.
Wicked pista.
Wicked pissa.
We have T-shirts up here. I gotta get one that say that. I'm telling you.
Oh, this has been a blast. I knew it would be. You guys got a great sense of humor. I love what you're doing, and I love what you're doing. Keep it up, and hopefully we can push some people over there and kind of discover what y'all are doing up there, which is pretty damn cool if you ask me.
Well, if it's
all right, folks. we're gonna go ahead and sign off. Do you guys know how we sign off on our videos?
Yeah.
All right.
Don't ask.
Don't ask.
We're gone.
So,
I bet Lala wants to end videos like that a lot of the time because we're making her get in front of the camera.
Yeah.
I'm sure she just wants to do that right there a lot of the time, but she works through it. So
all right, we always end our videos.
Before we let you go, you guys, if you haven't already, head over, see Shelly and Scott over at Whiskey Sunshine Off Grid. If you're not a subscriber, go subscribe to their channel. Go check out the chainsaw video. The
very first video. You will die laughing.
Video. But again, it was awesome talking to you guys. I had an absolute blast. It's really nice talking to people that I wouldn't say we're like-minded, because I have zero interest in living off grid to that extent. But what you guys are doing is awesome. It's preparation, whether you want to call it preparation or not.
It is. That's how we got
it's preparation. And so it's very admirable what you guys are doing, and you guys do a phenomenal job. I don't even think it's off grid. You guys need to upscale off grid is really what you're doing.
That's what you're doing. You're like highfalutin off grid.
Yeah.
You're highfalutin off grid. You can be off grid and run a toaster and a hairdryer at the same time.
Most of the time.
We didn't do this to make any kind of a political statement about being green or anything. This was because of basically independence. We wanted to be alone and be independent and be ready for anything that happens. It turns out we're so ready that things happen and we don't even know it.
You're absolutely right.
Silly, but,
hey, that's the way.
And most of our videos are about plowing snow and running chainsaws and taking care of Shelly's chickens. And if it seems that way,
What we do.
that's exactly what we're doing. That's it.
When they ask when my gas guy, we're going to sign off after this, when my gas guy says, well, why do you need me to come out every year and fill your tanks? Because you don't use anywhere near what these tanks are. So I got 2,000 gallons of fuel underground, and I use about 4% a year of that. So
right.
They come in and they top it off. They can only do like 80% of it anyway, because you got to have expansion room in there. But I only use about 4% a year. But I still have it filled every year the month before hurricane season starts, because I don't know what's going to happen. So
it's not what you use; it's what you could use.
Right.
That's right.
So, I could literally run off my generator continuously for 10 years if I had to. Probably, I don't know. I mean, a long time. Yeah. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and sign off. This has been a blast. Wicked fun. Wicked fun. So remember, folks, and this is how I always sign off. So remember, folks, treat others as you would like to be treated. Take care, folks. Good night.
Good night.
Night, guys.